Fortunately for me, with what I do with my artwork, I can talk on the phone while I'm doing it. So a lot of times when I'm working in the mornings, I'll call family and inevitably they'll say, "What you doing?" And I will always say, "I'm working on my animation." And if I had a montage of every time I said, "I'm working on my animation," it would be a very long video. So I wanted to give you a little window into my routine and my workflow, what I do, what that means when I say I'm working on my animation, and why it takes so long to do a project like this. So this is the little office where I work in our apartment, and you can see back here I have, this isn't every shot. It's kind of like the last 2/3 of the short film that I wish I had a bigger bulletin board so I could keep everything up there. But that's where I kind of put little sticky notes to say, this is what I'm doing next, and this is what I have done on this shot or that shot. So it's fun to see everything out in one place. But when I come in here, usually I work in the morning, so I'm fresh. I usually flip a few pages in one of my books that talks about animation. Like this one's called The 9 Old Men. It's about the Disney animators. And then the other one that I look to for inspiration right now is The Incredibles 2. Lots of amazing architecture and characters in that. So after I've had my moment of inspiration, what I do is I turn on the computer. I wanted to show you a shot that I recently finished. This is where the monkey has just had something happen to him that makes him really angry. And so in this shot, he looks at the camera in disbelief for a second. He has a little eye twitch there, and then he bubbles up and starts boiling with anger. And I love how you can just see the glow around his head. You know, when I look at this, there's a few little things that I would change or do differently, but right now I'm trying to train myself to finish the whole thing, the whole film, before I go back and fine tune, because I could be working on one shot for a few years, you know, and I'm not kidding. So that's what a final shot looks like, but what about the actual process of making that? So after this shot that I just showed you, what's going to happen is he is going to have a temper tantrum. He's going to have this explosion of energy, and he's going to be throwing things across the room. And where I often start with my research is I look at other animated movies, and I look for scenes that are similar to what I'm doing so I can get some reference shots. And so I decided to go in and find some shots.
Oh, sure. We'll eat our dinner right after you eat this. Ah!
And then one more. This isn't really a temper tantrum, but it's definitely an outburst. And it's from the movie Hoodwinked, which I'm a big fan of that movie. I think this one was especially helpful for me because I don't want it to be super smooth. I want it to be kind of like a choppy sequence of this angry outburst. So let me pull open my animation program. The animation program I use is called Adobe Animate. So I use my Wacom drawing tablet. I still don't know how it's pronounced. Wacom. But they make a good product is all I can say. The first thing that I did with this shot was I had already done some different poses, and I imported those poses and I kind of strung them all together in this timeline so I could get the timing right. And of course, these are very rough drawings. Some of them aren't even completed. So then I added another layer and I traced over the reference drawings that I made. And the new layer has a little bit more fine-tuned lines and that kind of thing. There's not going to be much transition. It's just going to be very, he's here, then he's here, then he's here, boom, 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 boom. In that last motion, he's going to be slamming something shut. So that's why he goes like this. In this pose right here, I've just started to take this second layer and actually make a third layer over it with lines that are even more refined. And I think that this will be the final version that then I go color in. But you can see why it takes me so long, because I have lots of fine tuning to do. And let me just do a little bit of this arm right here to just kind of give you an idea of how that works. Probably the biggest thing that I've been trying to figure out is brush sizes and making these brush sizes consistent so that when something is far away, the lines are a little smaller, and when something's closer, the lines are a little bit thicker. I'm going to redo this. This is not the best. I think that the screen capture software that I'm using is affecting the fluidity of the pen. So I might call that good for now, but that's just a little window into what I do. And then after this, I color it in and make sure the background is all just the way I want it, and then take it into After Effects. The final thing that I do when I get done with animating for the day is I have a goal of putting in an hour a day on my animation. And so I have this little bullet journal, and I made a square to fill in when I've finished my animation for the day. So I'm happy to report that this is how March looks. After I finish animating today, I'll be able to fill in the last little squares of March. So on track. And I don't know if I'm going to finish the film this year, but I'm definitely going to make a lot of progress if I keep this up. It's usually tricky to know how to end a video, but in this case it's very easy. I am going to let you go because I got to get back to animating. Have a great day.